I agree with Michael. This event, this women's speaking event today was historic. Because the trans never showed up and the women spoke, and they will come back. The police, interestingly, are now being essentially supportive of this free speech. I don't know how long this will last, but remember, the first of my 16 now arrests in the movement was at the hands of the police right here in order to prevent free speech. That's what it was about. Remember, we had to assemble in groups of, I don't know, one or two I think at the time. Anyway, I've been arrested for assembling in groups of more than 2 and more than 6 and more than 15 and I don't know how many others, but the struggle goes on. Now it's interesting, will the police stay on our side or not? I don't think so, but right now we ought to make use of it. And importantly, next week the women are going to come back with a bigger event with some more international speakers, and it will be at 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock. So we'll have to be here at 1 o'clock. We bought some numbers here to defend them against the trans. We've got to do it next week. But please, Sunday, 1 o'clock. I know that's early for you guys, but look, 1 o'clock, Sunday. Now, the most important things I learned from that event over there was, and what Hercule said, that women speaking out in crucial moments, in revolutionary or major struggles, often is decisive. And in Britain, remember, in the miners' strike, it was when the women's, you know, the women's wives and miners' strikers, or whatever they call themselves, when women against pit closures, right, when they started up, that had a tremendous impact around the country and generated even more support than they had. And the miners' strike was on the brink of winning. And without the women, it would have been defeated earlier. And again, I think in the movement, people notice that women are more active than men. They are. And maybe that'll carry on. But again, it's an example of the importance of women, which we men often underrate. And the points I wanted to get forward about, which arose partly from over there, and I'll repeat here, it's about what is happening in higher education. These modern universities are now awarding degrees in stupidity. That is what it is. They have taken away critical thinking in universities in order to impose fake science and fake social science, fake assessments. And the woman who's mentioned that her data, which is social science stuff, had essentially been confiscated because it came out with some truth. And again, on the climate issue, they cannot allow debate, because if they allow debate and evidence-based science, it will defeat them completely. And a graph I want to show on that, and we'll come back to higher education in a minute, is this graph here of carbon dioxide levels, and they've been increasing continually since 1960, and the blue dots on there are when they've had a big conference and introduced more measures to control man-made carbon dioxide. And you see, it's made no difference whatsoever. Their schemes to control CO2 are having no effect, and furthermore, just like all the COVID con, it is a complete lie in order to impose tyranny. So back in higher education, we've got to fight more and more for actual academic freedom and free speech. And there will be more struggles going on there. And I repeat, in Nazi Germany and in Stalinist Russia, they had to destroy free speech in order to impose fake science. The fake science of the Aryan race, being the master race, and in Russia it was the theory of, they're all done on the hell facts, all that sort of thing. And in Russia it was the Lysenko theory of inheritance of acquired characteristics. But all these things were there to justify tyrannical ideas and also a cover to control the population as well. And we are in the same situation now. The latest thing they've said now on climate is that this is the warmest for 125,000 years. Now look, that is a complete lie. It's the warmest possibly for 70 years or 80 years. But it's already getting cooler since 2003. It was much warmer in the 30s, but, well, I don't know. It just said the headline was warmest. But, all right, if you want to look at years or decades, we're now cooling, but 2003 was in real data probably the warmest since the 1930s. And the 1930s were warmer. And we know that from the data in America of days of when it exceeded 100 degrees Fahrenheit. They've been changing data all the time, adjusting past data, as is shown on that graph there, but you can't see it behind the table, unfortunately. But they're making it colder in the past, the new data, and warmer in the present. So they're lying. But the recorded data of 100 degrees F being exceeded cannot be wiped away. So they're in a problem. But they're going to carry on lying and lying on the data. It's certainly it was warmer in 1930s, right, in the world. And we know, though, statistically, this has actually been the coldest last 700 years of the last 10,000 years. So it's much warmer in the medieval warm period. It was much warmer in many previous warm periods. In the last 10,000 years, there have been 1,000 sub-peaks in temperature. And I have a graph of those here. And here they are. Here is the modern warming. It's about there. The medieval warm period is here. The Roman warm period is there. The Minoan warm period is here. All these 10 other peaks are warmer than the recent peak. This interglacial period of 10,000 years since the last ice age is now in its cooling phase. In 2,000 years' time, the ice ages will be back and the Russians will come because they won't have anywhere to live. And the Scots will come as well because Scotland will be ice covered. The last ice age was ice covered in Britain to about the M4. Below the M4, south of the M4, stayed as ground, which could be farm. Okay, so the man-made climate change lie is the core theory to justify carbon credits, all the data controls, all this zoning stuff, again to save the planet, but the real reason, as a number of people said, is to bring in monitoring and control and surveillance. And the 5G cameras are about that, or not 5G towers are about that as well. So, I won't go on much longer, but I want to say, key thing I got from that event was the phrase, gender pretender agenda.
Yes.
We're against the gender pretender agenda. So how can we say, kill the gender pretender agenda? Stop it. Break it. Break it. Break the gender pretender agenda. Break the gender agenda pretender. Break the gender pretender agenda. And long live elocution. Okay. The way forward in the coming years, weeks and months is going to be more and more building a united front. We now have, women on the move. I mean, they represented the beginning. We've got a lot of working class sectors on the move, but they've been betrayed by the labour movement. They've been held back by this nonsense. And we're putting forward a united front, key principles, not just me, but with others, on key issues. I'm repeating this before, but we said again, and we'll publish this soon. But it starts off with, well, it could start off with men are men, women are women. and straight away the Labour and Tory and Lib Dems are just out of it. Roads are for driving. Well, interesting idea, isn't it? And walking, but roads are for moving as opposed to putting plant boxes on them or narrowing them in order to prevent all junctions functioning properly.
Beautiful nature and flowers.
Well, I do, but on flower beds, not on roads. Coming events, I'm going to repeat. Next Sunday, 1 o'clock here in Porton. Be here in numbers. Then, after Easter, the first Saturday after Easter, the 15th of April, is the next big ULEZ demo, anti-ULEZ demo. It was going to be the 29th, but for various reasons, it's brought forward. So, Saturday, the 15th of April, massive anti-zoning rally in the south side of Trafalgar Square. We've got to stay there, be there, get contact to the traffic and have a little march somewhere. But it's going to be another big one. And around London, we've got now action on all the town halls. Now, anyone here who wants to take part, please get in touch with me. We've got to have action groups in every borough to go to every town hall to break them in their impositions of zoning. We've got fantastic things going on in Romford, Havering that is, and Ealing, and Colchester, that's outside London, and Plymouth. There's loads going on, but we've got to do it in every borough. And in London, there's 32 boroughs, people get in touch. Anybody from other parts of the country, get in touch. If there's not a group there, we will build a group to fight all the zoning everywhere, and we will win. My current debt, so-called, to the ultra-low emission zone charges is now £45,000. And I'm not going to pay a penny, and I'd rather go to prison than give any money to that corrupt thief Sadiq Khan. I will.
Well, with that money then we could have made more beautiful plants, more lovely.
Yeah, it's controlled opposition. I'll end with what we began. Resist!
Defy! Do not comply! Resist! Defy! Do not comply! Resist! Defy! Do not comply!